We're live. Thank you for being here. It's me and Dr. V on our opinion day. On our Wednesday opinion day. We are, and because we're not as much opinion on Sunday, we're just heavier on Sundays. The Wednesdays, we just give opinions, thoughts, ideas, go over some good stuff, have a good time. Joe and I were doing a lot of talking there beforehand. We're sorry we're a little bit late. We were getting things together. Joe's talking about why it's November 19th, such an important day with the Gettysburg Address, which you said?
And ratification of the 19th Amendment.
Yeah, right on. Gettysburg Address got it started. Then the ratification was, of course, the president wasn't around to see it at that point. Thank you, John Wilkes Booth. So we're going to jump into where we are. Let's go into what's happened, then we'll go into where Joe is. Epstein files. All these people said the Epstein files were a joke. They aren't. They're coming out. They're strong. Things are going, hey, Spartacus. They're coming out. And yet the president hasn't signed yet. I don't know what he's sitting on it for, Joe. It's been about 6-7 hours. He's hanging back. He could have had a good time. He could have been sitting there and gotten it done. But he for some reason, he wants to hide it. And it's interesting how so many of the emails that have been released have Trump's name in it. And Trump now knows that Epstein was a dirtball, admits now that he knew he was a dirtball in some other interview. And he just keeps talking. First, he stopped talking to Epstein because Epstein tried to steal a property from him at his sale. Then it was he tried to hire away one of his employees, one of his girls, as he called them, or whatever it was, when it's massage women, whatever it was. Then it was, now he was such a freak and he was horrible. What is this? He knew all this stuff and he knew what was going on. But isn't it interesting? The Senate passed it unanimously, the House except for one. But I think we got to get ready for something, Joe. And for those of you who aren't old like we are, let me just throw this out to you so we see. It's called expletive deleted. This is what I think is going to happen. Back during the Nixon days, during Watergate, when the tapes came out, we sat there, Joe and I, we all watched it, and President Nixon sat there on TV, and there were these binders behind him, these pointing behind him. God, I'll never forget this. And I was watching with Alan Newstat, too. He was watching. We're at the house. We're pointing. This is what was in the tapes. I transcribed everything. Here it is. Maybe a couple cuss words we cleaned out, but here it is. So it comes in, and everything was expletive deleted. Everything he did was expletive deleted. Those are the words used. Expletive deleted. Bet on that with whatever comes down from Bondi, the Attorney General. Really, they call it the Unjustice Department. Is that what we call it now? Like the Uncola was with 7-Up? The Unjustice Department. Thank you, Mr. President. I'll definitely try to indict him. Just tell me who I have to go after. I'll be glad to do it. That'll get us to Lizzie Halligan, another winner. So we sit here and we watch this. And now, where's the president signing it? How come the president hasn't signed it? Joe, tell me. Why hasn't the president signed the bill? Just Joe, give me an easy answer. Why hasn't he signed the bill?
They haven't finished scrubbing the files yet.
Yeah, but she has like 30 days to come up with the information.
Right. So he's delaying a little bit.
Well, what, a couple extra hours, Joe?
A couple extra. What's he have, a week or two to sign it?
Every day it looks big. He could hold on and do nothing and then decide to veto it down the road.
I mean, when's the pocket veto? When does it become a veto?
I don't think there'll be a pocket. There's not enough time for it here. But he would veto. He isn't vetoing it. He would look horrible.
Yeah, that's true.
He seems to be losing his political chops. I really believe that right now. Now he's threatening to fire his Treasury Secretary. Did you see that? He's saying a good job getting the interest rates down. Maybe Scott doesn't get the interest rates down. I'll have to, quote, fire his ass.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
I thought he wanted to make him the head of the Federal Reserve.
The Fed he's the guy checking everybody out to pick him. But, of course, he's got no vote. He can't make the Fed reduce interest rates. It's crazy. And, Joe, I sent you a text the other day. We're going to keep it between us. But I'm going to raise that issue. That interest rate's going to be cut. I've been saying it for a while. assume the December interest rate is going to be a quarter point. Don't get worked up on everything you're hearing from everybody. Unemployment is skying. There's only two things the Fed can look at: inflation with the economy and unemployment. What we're dealing with now is the stagflation we have been talking about. We have given everybody our old videos. Please go into Just American Citizen. You'll see them there. We've been talking about it for months and months. But that's where we are right now, because you have the situation where you can't bring down interest rates. How are you going to bring them down? But you're going to try. I mean, you can't make them drop a point. So you do a quarter of a point. What's that going to do? Nothing. It'll make people feel good. It'll make people think things are starting to happen. But if you bring down interest rates, but inflation keeps going up, there's your stagflation. And that's going to be your problem with this. And that's something, as we get into it, I want everybody to know what's coming. We're going to talk housing, this absolute housing crash we're in the middle of. When I say crash, I mean nobody's buying. Hardly anybody's selling, even though there's big inventory. To me, that's crashing, but that's all affordability. But I'm just telling everybody so you know what's coming. We're not talking about that right now. Joe,
it's important to separate opinion from facts.
Correct.
Okay? So when you say the housing market is crashing, what facts do you have?
Well, listen to what I said my definition was. My definition was that it's crashing in that nobody's buying homes.
Well, some people are buying homes.
There's always some people. Nobody's buying homes. The inventories are gigantic. They just announced today that the inventories, here it is, remember I've been telling you there's plenty of inventory to buy? I've been telling you that. The problem is affordability. There's now 36.8% more sellers than buyers out there. Now that's
that's data.
On Redfin, that's major data, just hot today. They call it a buyer's market. The problem is you may be able to try to get near it to buy it, but you can't afford it. And that's why it's a crash. Because if you buy it, look at Home Depot, their stock got handled yesterday. Did you see the earnings? Bad earnings. People aren't putting money into their homes. The problem you've got here is in housing, how do you pay for the roof? How do you pay for the plumbing? How do you pay for the windows? How do you pay your taxes? How do you pay your insurance if you live in Florida? How do you pay all this on top of owning the house and having an interest rate that's like 6.3, 6.4? To me, we've been in a perpetual crash in housing for the last, I don't mean value, I'm not talking value. Remember, for the last 3-4 years, Joe, 5 years, really kind of been since the big.
So what you mean to say is that the market has been softening because several years ago it was hard to get a house and the prices kept rising dramatically. I remember when my daughters were looking for houses, they had to bid over and above the asking price to get a house because there was so little inventory.
Exactly.
So now it sounds like there's a little bit more inventory, so that should soften the prices.
Oh, and the prices are getting softened a bit. Very good point. The problem is the affordability. So it comes down.
So what you're saying is it's the cost of maintaining the house that's increasing the affordability and the high interest rates.
Right. Well, the interest rate, you have to be able to pay it, okay, whatever it costs. But the affordability is like going to the grocery store. Affordability for food is affordability for the house. You do it. So you don't have a strong housing. You have a horrible housing market. You had that big blip, but that was during the COVID, coming out of COVID, when inflation was flying, when everybody was coming out and buying everything, and you could stay at home and work. So people were buying homes and moving to areas. Remember all that happened? And now what's happening in those areas is a lot of them are getting smacked and they can't sell those homes. So of course, housing is always local. You got to remember that across the board. Texas is different than Maryland, which is different than New York, which is different than California. They're all different. But for a 40-year-old buying his or her or their first house, which is the age, it's almost impossible to afford it. And that's why it takes so long. And that to me is a crash. Because if you can't do it and you can't buy it and you can't do it and you can't afford it, then what good is it? You're an American, you can't buy a house. And all you got that going on top of this stagflation, where inflation is going up 3% a year, one on top of the other, which is compounding. And at the same time, wages are going or staying static, and people are losing their jobs. And as we talked about the other day, we're not doing anything to help these people get new jobs. We're not looking to educate them. We don't even know what we're going to do, what kind of new jobs people are going to need. We just know we're putting them out. And the last time we talked, Verizon put out 15,000 more people, or they announced they're going to do it. That's what's going on. How are you going to buy a house? How can you have confidence? How can you believe? How can you want? How can you even consider you can do it? Unless you're loaded and you got the big bad bill, which cut everybody's interest rates who's up there. Those people who are sitting with MBS, the Saudi prince, with the president, living, eating good, having a great time, just throwing up trumpets and whatever else. Who knows what the food was, while these other people have to refile for food stamps. This is all part of what's going on. This is just incredible.
I mean, I think the theme is that we have a sort of a bifurcation in this country. The rich are doing incredibly well, but it's on the backs of working people. For working people, things are not affordable. For people who already have the money, the resources, things are going just fine. And I think that plays into it's a thread that goes through all the issues. That even with the Epstein case, there's a lot of people who believe we have two-class legal system, that if you're rich, if you're powerful, you can do whatever you want. You can date little girls, and there's not going to be any consequences to it. If you're rich, you can sail through this economy without any problem. You can buy up all these homes that other people can't afford. If you're rich, the judicial system shows favoritism for you. If you're rich, life is wonderful. But for people who don't have the resources, life is getting harder and harder. And I think that's cutting across both parties. And I think that some of the people in the MAGA movement, part of the reason why they voted for Trump is they thought he was going to go in there and defend them and stick up for people who didn't have the resources. And it's turning out it's opposite. He's mingling with the rich folks and ignoring the people who put him in office.
And putting money in his pocket, Joe, and putting big money in his family's pocket. Just want to note one thing to Brass Stacks here. Hey, Brass, when you're thinking about the price of gold in Canada, he said here was in 2015 was $1,500 an ounce. 10 years later, it's 5,700, 380% increase. What you have to remember, though, is gold is pegged to the dollar. So it may have gone up a lot more in Canada than normal because the dollar, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out to you to look at it, from 2015 till now may have been worth a whole lot more than the Canadian dollar, so that the Canadian dollar could buy less and it would cost it more. So I'm just throwing that out there. So when you're looking at that 380% increase in 10 years, you have to probably look at what the Canadian dollar is versus the American dollar, and then look at how the price of gold moved, then you'd have an idea. Just thought I'd throw that out there, Joe, because it's a very good point that Brass raised. Just basically,
I mean, but his point is that things are getting more expensive.
Exactly. I just wanted to have him think about that. I'd like to throw a little spice in there, Joe. Just look, I love you too, True. We're so happy you're there. We throw a little spice, and I love our mosh pit people. But when we're talking, so we've got this, but let's stick. Let me kind of go back quickly. No, let's stick on this because I'm very worried about our economy, Joe. We got people getting laid off. We got inflation going up, and we have a president running around the world only worrying about his peace trophy. He doesn't care. Do you hear him worrying about America? Look, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay, I got problems with her. She's saying a lot of stuff that makes sense now. The word is she's doing it because she got mad because she wanted to run for governor or senator from Georgia, and then Trump told her not to, showed her polls or something. I read that somewhere. I don't know personally, of course. And supposedly it's a personal thing with her now. Okay. But she still is just so deep into the conspiracy stuff you can't be sure where she's coming from. Okay, there's conspiracies everywhere. I think she still believes in Jewish space lasers.
No, she clarified that.
And no, she didn't. She believes that there's a real issue with Jews and running everything, and she still says that. But she said that's the truth. But she still says she doesn't understand it's the Italians that run everything.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I mean, ain't no question.
I think what she I'm not a defender of her, but what she's saying now is, and I think she represents a lot of people's feelings, that there are things that are out of their control. People are feeling helpless, and they feel that there's some group of people who are doing well and controlling everything behind the scenes. Now, I'm not sure, a bunch of rich people are sitting in meetings and plotting all this stuff out. But it is the case that the way our system is set up is definitely benefiting people who have resources. And the people who don't have resources are getting the short end of the stick.
But it's getting worse now.
It's that K economy thing. One group is doing well, and the vast majority of people are doing less well.
Right. Daniel says the Fed Reserve is the cause of this, regardless who the president is. I don't agree, Daniel. The cause is Congress and the president. They decide to open the spigot to spend money. They decide where the money goes, where Congress doesn't anymore. The president does totally, because they let him do it. But the bottom line is the Fed Reserve can only deal with two issues: inflation and unemployment. And they really serve the direction of the Congress, because those are the two rules Congress gave them. So right now, I'm sorry, I'm just looking over it. So right now, I mean, I just can't agree with you, because the Fed Reserve kind of does things on the edges. It's Congress. They pump out the cash. They do the programs of the president, who's taxing everybody and throwing tariffs in and killing our economy. So you have all that going on. So I can't blame the Fed. Just wanted to throw that out there, Joe. As soon as I see it's a good point, though, because the Fed has a hand in a lot of stuff, but they did not bring this on. It's Congress and the president, because they want the cash out there. My worry is this: you keep talking about, and you're right, the rich people getting this and the poor people getting this up back there, okay? Making a little noise for everybody. We don't say words here. My concern, though, is it's even worse than that, because we have to get down to the specifics again. What happens when the kids don't get their food? What happens if the food stamps don't come down for those Americans or those kids, period? I don't care, Americans or not, kids should eat. That the kids can't get their food. What happens January 1st when there's no health insurance? What happens? The issue, what everybody forgets is, they called it the Obamacare was to bring down costs. It really wasn't. It was there to make sure that those who couldn't get insurance could get insurance.
And to share the cost of the premiums. Exactly. To bring younger people on board, because younger people are not buying insurance. And if you don't have healthy people buying insurance, it's going to be incredibly expensive.
Correct. And then you got the president. He's just losing it. I'm sorry. He wants to just send money to people for their health care. You know, and I know, Joe, it ain't happening. They need that money for food. It's going to go to food. They need that money for, what are you going to do? Be stamped with a picture of Donald Trump when they're saying this money can only be used for health care? I mean, it won't work. That money's just how people are. They'll take that money and use it for whatever they want to use that money for, because they are addicted. So I thought I'd point that out, because that is the addiction man in the United States and in the world, as far as
in
the world, the man. So, but people are addicted to spending money. I mean, that's just what it is. And that's America. That's consumerism with it. But that's our problem. So if you don't have the money, I'm sorry. So now at the same time, you're looking at this and you go, well, why isn't Congress dealing with it? Well, now all Congress wants to do is say, we're not going to do ACA. We don't want to send the money out. We want to make changes. But that's not fair to those who have been dependent on this program for all these years. You want to take a year. You want to go out and say, okay, they get their ACA money this year, but we as Congress has to have a new program bill passed by the end of the year, period. Okay? Then you'll have time to be able to sit down and work it out. But to now argue about it when people are already losing their health care, when people can't afford their health care, when people can't afford the food to eat, when people are told they have to reapply for SNAP, think about that. That's the mentality of this administration that does a couple good things. But remember, a broken clock is correct twice a day. So you have that going on. That's what a friend used to say to me about me. Of course, he was incorrect, but I always loved it, so I throw it out there anyhow. But that's where we are with it. The economy is really not good. Tomorrow we get numbers, Joe. Tomorrow I think we get unemployment for 2 months ago, well behind the curve. And I think that's what we get, right? It's well behind. Trump won't allow out October. And we get, what else do we get tomorrow? We get something else tomorrow. So it's two things. We'll see what's going on, but it's old stuff. And can you trust any of this stuff coming out? It's like ICE saying they're getting beaten and they're getting beaten up all the time, and videos show they're lying. Okay, on a lot of these, it's so how can you believe the government? I think we're in big trouble. I'm going to tell you again. I'm worried about the poor people in this country. I'm worried about the middle class in this country, and there is no plan today to take care of those who are losing their jobs to AI or to whatever else right now. There is no plan to take these people and say, you couldn't do it then? I'm sorry, you can't, the jobs you're learning is going out the door. We're going to help you start looking at jobs that will help you in the future. And I want to throw one more thing out there too, because this is my pet peeve. Joe hears me say it every now and then. MBS was here, the Saudi prince. He's got all the oil in the world. He said, we got plenty of oil. He's got all the oil in the world. We're giving him F-35s, right? What are we getting for it? Nothing.
Well, they bought them, right? They paid for them.
Oh, yeah, they'll pay for them. Great. So are others. This is our best tech. We're giving them F. And remember, Joe, in October, the Saudis had a joint military maneuvers with the Chinese. So this is a couple months ago, and now we're selling them.
He's our good ally. Didn't you know that?
Yeah, what an ally. So now they're doing it, our best friends, and we're giving them F-35s. And when they're already out doing military maneuvers, the Chinese, our adversaries, you don't think that information is going to go over? That was the whole idea when Turkey bought air defenses from Russia, and we wouldn't sell them our best planes because we didn't want them to give that information to the Russians. But he's going to do this. And this is my problem, though, Joe. It's two reasons. Trump's doing it because I believe he's just putting all that money in his family's pocket. It'll come out in the end. He's just doing well. We all know it. The other problem is this. Getting rid of solar energy was one of the biggest mistakes we ever made. We are so dependent on oil now that we have to have this Saudi guy come over who has a major hand in cutting people up, taking Khashoggi, the writer, and having him cut up. Because, you know, when you drop into a local, your local Saudi whatever, you get chopped up and your bones.
Things happen, Mark. Don't you know that? Things happen.
Just happen. And remember, it was Trump's CIA who said it was the prince involved in it. I think it was like the prince's right-hand man was involved. We know all this. So what are we getting? We're getting nothing. If we were smart, which we're not, we would have kept our solar energy stuff and we'd be focusing, not getting those storage units so we could take the power of the sun and control it. And if we control the power of the sun, because the sun makes everything green, the sun lets you and me live. It lets everybody else live. And if we can get it into these batteries, make our own batteries, we can live well. Everybody can do well. And we'd have great defense. We'd have everything. But no, let's throw that out. This is another thing that worries me, because this guy comes in. Oh, he looks good, doesn't he, in that scarf and everything? Yeah, he's our friend taking our stuff. Let me ask you this, Joe. What happens when all the oil leaves underneath, or a lot of it? Now, I'm no geology guy. I say that up front. But what worries me is if you keep sucking all this oil out from under the ground, and you had rocks and everything, you got to be changing things. You got to be moving things around. Who knows what's going on under there? Who knows what the foundations can be? Did they have in Oklahoma or another state a whole bunch of little earthquakes that were coming and going. If you're sucking it all out, has anybody even looked into it? I have no problem with gas. I have no problem with oil. I think right on, but are we even thinking about this? We're sucking all this stuff out. What are we doing underneath the ground? What are we doing to America? I don't know. What we're doing is we're making ourselves even more dependent on the Saudi sheiks and the UAE and all these guys in Qatar and all these guys over there, because it's never women, it's all guys, and giving them everything they want while they give Trump a nice airplane and a whole bunch of other stuff. What does America get? Why isn't the president of the United States focused on America? Why isn't the president of the United States focused on our economy? Why isn't the president of the United States focused on bringing down the prices in our economy? I don't understand. He does a little bit on defense, but there ain't much going there. Meanwhile, he's just blowing people up in speedboats in the water to prove I don't know what. It sure isn't stopping drugs from coming into America. Why isn't this guy focused on America? And that's where Marjorie Taylor Greene is correct. And that's where the MAGA people are correct who are mad at him about it. The Joe Rogans and stuff. He's running around the world looking for his little peace trophy. I told you he's going to get one when the soccer games are here and FIFA is here. They're going to have the peace trophy. It's going to be the Trump peace trophy. It's going to be something. He's going to get it. Why isn't he here, Joe, worrying about America, taking care, before we even get to the judiciary, taking care of our economy and taking care of people who don't have money, who don't have food, who don't have medical insurance, but rather have these big dinners for all the big people, and then have a nice dinner where waitresses get into champagne glasses. Tell me, Joe, what am I missing? This ain't Republican or Democrat. This is American. This is populism. This is caring about people. When is the president of the United States going to quit enjoying life and focus on the American people and our American economy? Tell me, Joe.
Mark, in case you haven't noticed, we have a president who is very much, I'll use the word, but I think you know what I mean, addicted to adoration, love, people telling him how great he is. And if you criticize him, he comes across, he just attacks you. We've seen numerous examples of that this week where someone would ask him a question about Epstein or whatever, and he would call one woman a little piggy, told the other person that she was a horrible reporter, that they're going to take away the license at ABC. So this is his personality. And you don't need to be a psychiatrist to see this. He just, every single day, if you blow smoke up his rear end, he loves you. And if you criticize him, he hates you. That's what we have. That's just a fact. We can be upset about it. We could rail all day and get frustrated, but it's not going to change anything. That's what we have as a president right now. And he makes there's nothing even subtle about it anymore. You know, if you go up to him and slip him a 50, he'll say you're a great guy. If you go up there and you say, criticize him on his ankles being swollen, he's going to call you a jerk. That's what we have. So the question is, what are we going to do about it? And this is a little different angle.
What we're doing,
and I'm going to tell you what we can do about it, because we are seeing hints of it right now. And this is why I'm smiling. And this is why I am so encouraged. And on this day of November 19th, okay, Lincoln reminds us that freedom comes at a cost. He was consecrating the Gettysburg battlefield, where there were many people who died, who gave their lives for freedom. The suffragettes, November 19th was when that amendment passed. And again, people sacrificed to get their freedom.
Dude.
The other day, I was so impressed.
I'm out. Tell people who the suffragettes were. Most people.
Oh, I'm sorry. Women wanted the right to vote. So 100 years ago, 103 years ago, 45 years ago, women did not have the right to vote. When my mother was born, women did not have the right to vote. But before she died, she was able to roll into a voting booth and vote for Hillary Clinton.
And that was because of the women's suffragettes.
Suffrage, exactly.
Talks about
And
suffragettes hanging just what people don't understand because it's really out of history.
this is good. Well, why don't you tell them about the suffrage? You're the history person.
Well,
What sacrifices did they make to finally get the right to vote?
They did. They went out and they marched and they took their husbands by the hand and they just said, it's time for us to vote. But the suffragettes, they were like laughed at, they were pushed around. But Americans, they were Americans and stood up and said, we have rights and we're ready to do it. And now they have the right to vote, though I believe some in the manosphere don't think that women should be voting that much. I mean, if you saw it, a little side thing, some of Larry's...
Go back. That's a little Devo right there.
Summers, yeah, but if you saw some of Larry Summers'
right.
text messages about women, it's still out there. Man, what a doink he is. How these people, just a little sidebar, how these people were writing to Epstein asking him about how to deal with chicks. I don't understand. I'll tell you this, there's going to be a lot of that stuff coming out. It's going to be interesting. I mean, wow, not just Trump 1,200 times. It's going to be a lot of other names of people asking. How about that congressman for the Virgin Islands doing texts with Epstein when she's questioned?
I know.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
I mean, it's going to be there's going to be a lot of fallout from all this across both parties, across royalty, everything else.
Right, but what we got to remember
but here's the point I want to make. That the other day, women who've been dealing with the trauma of having to put up with all the crap that Epstein did to them finally had their voices heard. And they worked, they pressured Congress, and actually they got results. And this is where I give Marjorie Taylor Greene credit, because this is something she's been on top of for a long time. Now, she's got the conspiracies and all that. She's a little bit out there, but she's got a sense of that things are not fair, that there's some people, some entities out there that have it good, and a lot of other people don't have it good and are being put down, don't have any control, don't have any agency in the world. And she gave voice to them. And together with a Democrat and another Republican, they got up there and they forced the Congress to take a vote. And the congressmen were not going to say, oh, yeah, let's keep the Epstein files locked up. She put pressure on them. And look what happened. It passed almost unanimously. And then it went through the Senate. And now it's on Trump's desk.
Well, it went to the Senate because Trump told them to do it, not because they did anything. The Senate gets no credit. The Republicans said they're getting no credit. They said they weren't even going to vote on it. Remember, it was Trump said do it, so they did it. Okay, Daddy, you tell me to vote for it, I'll vote for it. And that's a chunk of the others out there.
So we can look at all the congressmen who just go along with what Trump tells them to do, but there's cracks in that right now.
So there are cracks.
There's cracks. And I want to celebrate those cracks, because those are the brave patriots. Those are the American citizens that people are going to give speeches about. Those are the brave Americans that are going to save the country. And that's how this country has survived as long as it has, from a couple of few good people who are willing to sacrifice and stand up to the tyrants.
What are you saying? Marjorie Taylor Greene is sacrificing? Who are you kidding? She's nothing.
She's
nothing, Joe. She has a job. She's paid to represent people, and that's her job. And she's trying to maintain.
And what about all the other people who, quote, have jobs who won't stand up to
heroes? The heroes were the women. The heroes were the women who
absolutely the heroes are the women.
Those are the heroes.
But she helped give the women a voice. Right. I'll give her credit for that.
Trump gave her the finger. I'm there. I mean, right on. Let me jump into the mosh. I give her a little credit. Thomas Massey deserves the credit. Lauren Boebert stood up.
Yes, both of them as well. Yes.
You know, what's her name in South Carolina? But thank you. They did the right thing. What do you want me to say?
We give so much oxygen to the people who are protecting other rich folks. We give too much oxygen to people who demand attention. You know what we do to people who are addicted to drugs? We take them away from them. We don't give them more and more. And that's what we're doing as a country. People who demand attention, we're just giving them more and more attention.
That's not true what you just said. If
What?
people on the streets in certain cities, they give them more drugs. They let them have it and they let them keep on doing
That
it.
doesn't make them better. That doesn't help anything.
Yeah, I agree it doesn't.
That doesn't help anything. That's not going to fix the situation. That doesn't fix it.
Wait a second. You are right. You're 100% correct. My point is, people don't do it as you say. They're not all lucky enough to have Joe Volpicelli, and I say this from the heart because everybody knows it, to be able to come to and have Joe counsel them and do what has to be done to help you break an addiction. That's not what's out there, Joe. We got politicians say, yeah, let them stay out in the streets, let them do this, let them do that. It's just horrible out there. But if I may, we're lucky we got guys like Joe. I'm telling you, it's just, that's all I can tell you. I know people he's helped. He's just me. Well, I'm not going to admit that. That's my man. That's my man. He helped me in Italian. He definitely helped me in Italian.
Nina helped us in Italian.
Many years ago.
Nina helped us.
Francie Lilo's looking for you. Thank you, Joe. I love you. Okay, that was a long time ago, Joe. Let me jump into the mosh pit.
I barely got through Italian, to be honest. It was almost my good thing I took a pass fail. That's all I have to say.
So did I. That's what I did. But you
I just barely passed.
You get me in the pass area. I was kind of.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
We took three semesters of that stuff. We were crazy. Bonjour. Remember, I kept.
No parla molto bene.
I kept talking Spanish. I knew Spanish.
Yeah, that's true. You knew Spanish, yeah.
Right. The professor said, Mark, quit talking Spanish. Okay, we'll leave that. Marlon and I can jump into this.
What's going on in the mosh pit? I haven't been paying attention.
Real fast, see what's going on. The solar work at night, action. Listen to what happens with solar. That's why you need the batteries. That's why if you go on to Just American Citizen, I'll find it for you. 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I would say we had to build energy conservation units so that we could be ahead, so that if you get that solar, you've got it, you got control of it. It's in your battery. You can do what you need with it. We didn't do it. We've just been doing no thought whatsoever on where it works, okay? I kept talking about a skunk works. We need it. When you control solar, you control the world, because that's the reason everything is green. That's the reason everything grows in this world. It's incredible. Okay, solar energy, I agree. I just think it's a big mistake. You want to use oil and gas, fine, but to walk away from the sun makes no sense. Why do cars have to have gas? They should be able to have sun get on them and just have a quick battery. I'll leave it alone. Is this the Cry Channel? No, we're telling it like it is. Drunk Uncle, listen to Mark Green. Mark's been giving us trouble, Joe.
Mark Green.
I don't know why. Trump wins, India not buying Russian oil. Everybody's buying Russian oil. Grant, it's China's buying it. They're getting all they want. They won't shut down Russian oil because Trump loves Putin. He loves Putin. He's not focused on America. He tells you he is, but he loves Putin.
He loves people who have money, who have power.
That's all it is. He got his new golden ballroom. Yes, he did. Getting rid of fossil fuels. That's part of what I was saying, Marlon. If we're not dependent on fossil fuels, we're not dependent on Saudi Arabia. That's always been a defense issue here. We got plenty of oil and gas. We got solar. There are things we can do. I'm not a major wind guy. Mark, think about Mark. Mark, give me reasons. Mark Reed. Joe, tell Mark to give us reasons why he says rambling, this, that, and the other. Okay, what don't you like, Mark? I don't think we're embarrassing. We got a lot of people in the mosh pit.
Yeah, I mean, if people have something to say, please present some data to support what you say. I'm always interested in learning new things.
We are. We're getting a lot of good people here. Emma's saying, why are we subsidizing businesses with our money instead of us having health care for our people? Emma?
Good point.
How you doing?
Good point.
Right on.
She's right.
The trader says Trump is a traitor. It's all a matter of definition there, but you can believe what you wish to believe. What can I tell you? He only has another 3 years. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, he's already a lame duck.
Right. Look, I voted for Kamala. I tell people that, and she would have been focusing on renewable energy. I can't say, would she have been a great president? I don't know. We're so split right now. Would she have been able to bring us together instead of splitting us apart like the great disuniter? Just so you'll know, Joe, that's going to be our next one. On Sunday, we're going to be talking about the great disuniter. I've already put together the thumbnail. I think you'll love it. Why do the rich people get the handouts is the question.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
That's the question. We're getting some great stuff here. Other than that, okay, world's laughing. I don't know the world's laughing at. Found guilty of sexual assault. That was Trump. He's Teflon Don, but he's having issues right now. And let me tell you, what Joe says is right. You keep hearing it on TV. I'm not sure. Are there really cracks? I don't know if it's cracks, Joe. I just think when you look at MAGA, and we have always welcomed MAGA into our mosh pit for how long? Right? For all year, the last year and a half. We love MAGA. We love Americans. We just love Americans. I love this country. He knows I get into it. As soon as I start saying it, my heart breaks. I think about the flag behind me. We're just an American citizen. We believe in it. We believe in the flag before anyone. Right, left, whatever. We love our country as we go forward with this. But the great disuniter is trying to set us apart. We're going to get into that Sunday. Join us Sunday at Capitol Raceway. What are you laughing about, Joe?
Thomas's comment.
What did Thomas say? What did he say?
I can't repeat it.
You can't repeat it? Okay,
No.
I'll get it somewhere in here. But I love it. We'll see what that is. Money laundering, tax evasion. He's sure putting money in his pocket. We were marching to prevent kings. Of course, think about it. You see, this is where I think he's really starting to have a problem with Trump. Like those memes where he was dropping manure all over people. People don't want to see that. People want to be able to exercise their right to speak. It's like you were talking about it earlier with that ABC reporter. He just jumps people. He doesn't like an answer. He doesn't like a question. You can't say it. You're horrible. You're this, you're that. I think people are tired of hearing it. I think overall people are saying, you want to talk big, fine, but if you're not reducing prices, you're not doing me any good. And if you're not reducing my electrical bills, you're not doing me any good. And if you're not reducing my mortgage rates, you're not doing me any good. And that's what's happening to Trump. And he can act tough and do everything he wants. But if he can't deliver, people get upset about it. They may end up saying his supporters, well, I like him, I'll put him over here and forget it. But the others who are in Congress are going to taste it if it keeps going like this. And let me tell you, Dale, we'll never see the files. She's talking about the Epstein files. What we said earlier, I keep talking about as this expletive deleted. When Nixon did it, when the Nixon tapes came out, and Nixon sat there and pointed at the notebooks and said, everything's in here, all the transcripts, and the transcripts came out, and everything was expletive deleted. Expletive deleted. Bet on this. Expletive deleted all over. Won't be the same word, but it'll be pretty much the same thing. All you will see is Democrats or people that they don't like in there. And
it'll be Donald Trump deleted.
Right.
Trump, and then this guy came over with the orange hair and blank, 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 blank,
right.
blank, 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 blank.
Exactly.
And then he said blank, 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 blank.
It'll all be deleted.
It'll all be deleted, yeah.
Because you can't trust the Attorney General, the Unjustice Division. Look what happened today. Joe, did you see what the judge did to him today? You know, with Comey. I'm not a supporter of Comey generally. I don't like what he did to Hillary Clinton. I think Comey got heavily involved in politics as head of the FBI and shouldn't have, okay? That was my fault. Whether he went against Trumpers don't like him or the Hillary people don't like him, it sure says nobody likes him. However, look what happened. Trump said, I want him indicted. I want him, the king. I want him indicted. I want Comey indicted. And the lawyers said, we can't indict him. The law doesn't allow us to indict him. So he fires everybody. Boom, 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 boom. Brings in Leslie Halligan or whatever, his insurance lawyer. I'm sure she takes care of his health insurance or whatever. His insurance lawyer, okay? Makes her assistant state's attorney. She goes in there and pushes through the indictment against Comey. But did you hear what happened today? These are the facts we're starting to find out, which I absolutely can't believe. There was a 3-count indictment that she was putting together. The grand jury said the first count we don't want. So you need a new indictment that's going to just have the 2 counts. Did she come up with a new indictment and give it to the grand jury? No. All she did, yeah, I'm a little red there, aren't I? All she, believe me, it's not tan, it's just bad lighting, sorry. That's better. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Doesn't matter.
All she did was, I think, she basically took a pen, went to the 3, probably crossed out one of the counts, and then sent it up and said, this is what he's being indicted for. She did not take those 2 counts and give them to the grand jury and say, this is what we're indicting him for. Please sign. Think about this. Now, you have people, everybody's trying to watch it. Did she do it on purpose? Is she just totally incompetent so she didn't know any better? But I can't believe that she's totally incompetent, didn't know any better, because every lawyer knows, I didn't do any grand jury work, but everybody knows if you're going to pass an indictment and you want a jury to sign off on it, the jury's got to look at it, the grand jury, and say, yes, we agree, we sign off. You don't just take it, have a good time with the original one, and basically say, here's my eraser, erase and file it. That's not charging anybody. These are the people that Donald Trump has put in charge of our justice. These are the people that Donald Trump has taken and destroyed our justice system, put incompetence in. And what's so sad, Joe, is it makes you wonder about these lawyers, the Attorney General's office. I'm sorry, of these assistant U.S. attorneys, because are they incompetent or are they just doing what Trump wants? And it makes you wonder, because you sit there, you listen to Pam Bondi, and every time Trump says, do this, she goes, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. What is she thanking him for, Joe? That he told her what to do? That she didn't know? Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate you telling me, Mr. President. This isn't an attorney general.
She's a DEI hire.
This is somebody that I love you. I'll do whatever you want, Mr. President. Why should I think? I'll do whatever you want me to do. It doesn't matter what the laws are. And that's what it's coming down to now. It's absolutely horrible. And those of you guys who think I'm crazy about this on this mosh pit, you are wrong and I am right. Because Joe will tell you, back when it started with Eric Adams, and I said to him, when Eric Adams cut that deal with Trump, I said, Joe, that's the end of our legal system. It's all going to be a matter of who you know, who you're going to call, and where you're going to go. And that's what's starting to happen right now. Go ahead.
Here's why I disagree with you a little bit, Mark, just to bring it down a notch. But
on this case, you're talking about this case?
I'm talking about in general. That
okay.
And you're right. There's been consistent demonstrations where we have an unfair justice system. If you have money, you get off. If you're poor, you don't get off.
Or if you know Trump.
If you know Trump and you say some nice things about him, you have a much better chance of getting preferential treatment, for sure. And people are upset about that. But here's why I disagree with you a little bit. Many of my friends, I'm thinking of some of my buddies who are in my fantasy football league, or very much.
Wait a second. They only like you because you're losing this year. They don't like you.
Well, that's a point winning. Too, but
they only like you.
That's a point. I'm not saying that they like me. What I'm saying is that I understand them a little bit better now. I'm trying to take some time to understand. And once you get past all the name calling, what they're upset about is that they can't afford things.
Right.
And they couldn't, but to be fair, they couldn't afford things in the Biden administration either. And so that's why they were upset with the Democrats and the left liberals. Now, where we disagree was they said it was the immigrants that were causing them not to be able to afford things. I don't think that was the case. So they supported Trump. And now that he's in there, what is it, 9 months or so? I mean,
almost a year.
It's almost a year. They're saying, you know what? I thought he was going to clean up the swamp, but he is the swamp.
He is the swamp.
He's rubbing elbows with the rich people. He was supposed to hold them to account. He was supposed to look out for us, and he's not. And so even though they voted for Trump, they're wondering, maybe that wasn't the right move. And so there's cracks in his base, and you can see it in his declining poll numbers, and you can just feel it. You can smell it, that as people get a sense that this guy is vulnerable, then all these people who've been just putting up with all his crap are going to start coming out of the woodwork.
And they are so.
I thought the Epstein thing a couple months ago, I said this could be the thing that brings him down. And I still think that it's because it addresses the fundamental issue that many people have, that it's not fair. It's just not fair. And they thought Trump was going to fix it. And instead of fixing it, he's amplifying it.
Exactly.
And so that's why I like what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying. And to some extent, she's been consistent, except sometimes she puts the blame on the wrong folks. It's not the Jews. It's not the immigrants. It's a system that rewards people who already have stuff.
That's right.
And that's not what this country was founded on.
Well,
for all people.
I know, but it was the rich people who put it all together, Joe.
Yeah, but you know what?
A lot of those guys were rich, especially the Virginia planters and everybody who came up.
But they extended the vote to the people who were not rich.
Well, not all of them.
No, in the beginning, it was imperfect.
No,
it was imperfect.
Had to own property.
Before, you had to be like a nobleman.
Right.
And actually, I was watching, there's a Revolutionary War show on.
No, yeah. Are you watching Ken Burns?
Yeah. Did you see the episode last night?
I'm waiting so I can cram it all in.
Okay. Well, last night there was an episode where when they were debating the Constitution, the Pennsylvania Congress was getting together, and they had a very liberal rule that to extend the vote not just to the noblemen, but basically mostly all guys. It was all guys at the time. And that was very radical at the time. And that helped influence our own Constitution. And again, it hasn't been perfect. It's been trying to move to be more perfect, but they extended the vote to more people. Now, they really didn't trust the population 100%. The people would elect people to make the votes. And we still have that in the Electoral College. We don't even vote for president. We vote for electors who then get together in Washington who wind up picking the president. But the idea was that all men were created equal. And by men, eventually it meant men and women too. But all people are equal. And equal in the...
by men, it also meant those of different colors.
And different colors. And again, at the time, they couldn't get everything through. It was the best they could do.
Well, I agree. Look, I think the Constitution got written. We're not ready for the Constitution. You know, I love history. I think the Constitution got written in such a way that it was so wide open that it had to happen, and war had to happen, Civil War had to happen, and it was either going to be slavery or no slavery. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. You couldn't have some and not have others. It just didn't work that way. Not if you're one country. It couldn't work. So it worked out, I think. But then it took another 100 years to get people the right to vote down south. A lot of those people who lost their right to vote. Either way, I'm with you. My problem is, you and I agree. It's the leadership doesn't care. Look, if you have a president that cares about people, just because he says he cares about people, maybe he does sometimes when you talk to him. But Joe, what is he? Is he even here in America? What is he doing here in America? The only thing he says he's done is he's pulled off some taxes on some food. I haven't seen the difference in price. Have you seen the difference in price?
You don't get credit for starting the fire and then putting the fire out. You don't get credit for being a fireman if you're the person who started the fire. If you raise the taxes to raise the cost of the food, you don't get credit that you took the tariffs down to make it more affordable.
Of course, but that's how he does it. We always talk about it. He's Humpty Dumpty. He throws it down, and you can't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. It's no different. This is always the fault of what we do. Devolution. All Trump does is take us back. People thought by going back, it would get people more jobs. It didn't. People thought that going back and throwing immigrants out would open up more jobs. I love hearing it. I keep waiting. I don't see people running to fill the lines to pick vegetables. I don't see people running to cut down trees or cut people's grass, except maybe for some kids. I don't see any of that. What you see is the lie when the president said, and when you have people like the people work around them with the 2025 program or whatever it was called, said that non-Americans are hurting Americans, bringing down their wages. That's not what's going on. They're all gone. They've been coming in. They don't have enough to pick up anymore. So they pick up Americans. They pick up people who are honest people who shouldn't be picked up, and they lock them up and make excuses. They can't do anything anymore. There's no more people really to pick up. There may be a couple, Joe. There ain't many left that are bad people, and I think you got to get them.
Here's the best. Here's the best. Here, let me give you. They picked up a Native American and tried to deport her. What country were they going to send her to? She's Native American.
Back to the Native America.
Up.
Just say it's back to Native America, wherever the hell that was.
That's called United States.
I understand.
That's rich. That sums it up for me. They picked up Native American.
Well, how come
to deport her?
How are they doing that? She's an American.
She didn't look 100% white.
Oh no! But she is an American. You're saying?
Her people were here before the Europeans were here.
I didn't know. That's why I didn't understand.
No, she's Native American.
Right? No,
her people were here for 2,000 years before.
So listen, I'm there. My question to you was: so then what? They just picked her up for no reason? She was just there, and it was one of those sweeps where they just picked her up.
Yeah, they confused her with somebody else, they said.
They do it all the time, and she proved she was an American. How long did they keep her?
Oh, like they kept her overnight in jail.
Of course. I heard these guys come on TV, these ICE guys come on the other night. They're sitting there. Look, people, understand, ICE doesn't like you either. ICE doesn't like MAGA. Most of these ICE guys are thugs, and that's what it's turning into. If you got to wear a mask, then you ain't the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger is the only guy who can wear a mask. I always say it, Joe shakes his head. The Lone Ranger is the only guy who can wear a mask. All these other guys that wear masks, you can't trust them. How do you know who they are? And they come in and they tell you they're doing things legally, but they're not. When you look at the videos on so many of them, they make every excuse in the world. That's what's going on. They're trying to turn Americans against Americans. They're trying to say these people don't deliver. Let me tell you something. The people in America deliver. They work hard. We make it. It's about time. We say to Trump and these guys who are just taking people's money, taking people's food, taking people's insurance, and say, out, man. 2026, out. You're out of here. Let's get a whole new Congress in. Remember, let me ask you, how many bills did they pass in the last 3 months, Joe?
Well, one.
Yeah, one. Isn't that great? We're paying them. How many times did we say you shouldn't pay the bums? And they sit there and they go, well, under the Constitution, we should be paid. And they never tell you. The Constitution says you get paid for services. What services have they provided us? Zero. All they do is
you're always a half empty guy. I'm half full.
Oh,
in the past week, they passed something.
Well, you are then. You are 100% full, Jim. You are 100% full. I don't know what you're.
They're warming up. They're just warming up.
That's what it is. But these guys. So to me, it doesn't matter. We always said it. Republican, Democrat, who cares? Meaningless. All that matters is nobody's really focused on taking care of people, caring about people. Wait till January comes. We're going to get through Christmas. Everybody's going to buy gifts. They're going to do everything. We're going to hit January. You're going to start hearing these guys in Congress go, well, we'll have to figure out how we're going to help ACA. Oh, they don't need the money. Oh, so what? Some hospitals closed. It's all a hoax. Like Epstein's a hoax. That's the best part. Let me just hit that quickly. You know how Trump says it's a hoax, Joe? Yet he has Pam Bondi looking into it. But it's a hoax.
No, I mean, it's...
I know, but I love the contradiction, which is so obvious. It's a hoax, but you've got to look into it because it's all Democrats, but it's a hoax. So what's a hoax about? Ain't no hoax. Bottom line is the whole administration is a hoax. It's a magic trick. Look at this and pull the stuff off the table.
It's called gaslighting.
It's even worse than that. It's called lying. I don't like the word gaslighting. It's lies. It's out and out lies. And they've been lying to us. And the only thing they're honest about is that Trump wants his peace trophy, and he's not giving us anything for this country. Where is he helping us? Prices are not going down. Insurance is up. Everything is up. People are bummed. That's what's not up. People feeling good. Not good at all. But he lives good, doesn't he, Joe? He lives good. I'm so disappointed. I thought he would kind of do a couple things. I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening, Joe. I don't think he cares. And our MAGA friends are getting screwed by him. They're getting screwed by him. And
They're
even
wising up, though.
Marjorie,
They're wising up. They're wising up.
even your friend Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying it.
They're wising up. I'm telling you.
I think they're wising up.
We better bring it down a notch. You got an album for us today?
Oh, God. Woo! I am rocking.
Come on, guys. It's a long week. It's only Wednesday.
You know this
It's
album?
only Wednesday.
Cream, Wheels of Fire.
Oh, now there I agree with you.
Incredible album.
That's classic.
Incredible album.
That is classic. Classic.
1968 really was. I like Disraeli Gears better, which was their first album, Sunshine of Your Love. But the Wheels of Fire's got everything on it. In a white room with black curtains.
Eric.
The station. People are going to be running in a second.
Jack.
There's a song on here, Pressed Rat and Warthog, which I absolutely love. People don't ever talk about it. This was all Ginger Baker basically doing it.
Ginger
was great. Hell of a drummer. Those were the days when Ginger again, born under a bad side. Then we blow to the third side, and we have Crossroads and Spoonful. It's all live. Spoonful, and then Toad, which is just Ginger doing his drums. I can only put up with drums for so long. The only drum roll I love, Joe, is Inagata DeVito.
Oh, yeah.
That's the drum roll of all time.
Iron Butterfly.
Oh, God, I love it. Inagata DeVito. I really in the Garden of Eden. We used to argue about that in college. In college, back in school. So this is listen to this. Music. It takes over. It calms me down. Joe's already calm, but it calms me. He just throws the music. Throw music at Mark, Joe says to me. Whitewood, get this. Wheels of Fire is such a great album. You hear Eric Clapton, three guys, just pumped out sound. You got to remember, back then, you didn't have electronics to do with what they do now. You had a guitar, you had a bass, you had drums, maybe some keyboards, you had you had an amp, and you turned it up, and that's what maybe a wah-wah stick. And you turned it up and did your thing, and you came out with music like this. 1968, right after the Summer of Love. Monterey, the greatest of all the music festivals, 1967. But it came out, Cream wasn't there, Eric Clapton wasn't there, but this group happened, and then it imploded. It was so good, it imploded because the talent couldn't put up with each other. What a mistake. What a mistake. I'm rocking, baby. I'm cooking today.
Monterey was not the Summer of Love, no.
But Joe agrees with me on this, don't you, Joe?
Yeah, that's a great album. Great album.
And
the best musicians. Maybe, would you say the three most talented musicians?
Well, they're incredible because you had like Jack Bruce, who wrote a lot of great stuff.
All of them were great in their respective domain.
Eric was a great guitar player.
Who?
Eric was a great guitar player.
Maybe one of the greatest.
No, he wasn't. Hendrix was. Eric Clapton was a great guitar player. And then, of course, I love Eddie Van Halen. And there's a lot of other great guys. But and Jimmy Page. Come on.
They can't compare with David Gilmour, but otherwise.
Because they don't use alarm clocks. Then you had Ginger Baker, who's like a jazz drummer.
Yeah. He was great. No, he was great.
You had a lot of other greats. Keith Moon, you had a lot of great guys. Mitch Mitchell. This was when music was just exploding. Wow, I love music. I couldn't watch TV. I would just go in my room. I'd work. I'd have enough money to pay $2-3 to buy this album. I'd put it on, and my mother would be banging on the door. Turn that down. Turn that shit down. That's all I'd ever hear. Mom, leave me alone. Rock and roll, Mom. Woo, get it. Turn it. Lay back. Enjoy it and say, it is so great. What a great time was music. Great people. I love these people, Joe. We have the greatest viewers around. We really
mosh pit.
We love.
I'm sorry we got distracted. We didn't pay enough attention to the mosh pit today.
But check us out, Just an American Citizen. Please go on there and subscribe and look at some of our stuff. Joe, what are you now? Dr.
I don't
V.
know. I'm going to change it again.
Okay, he's going to say
Dr. V, Joe Talks. I'm going back to that.
Dr. V all over the web. You want to learn about addiction? You want to see this stuff? He writes, he speaks, he's all over.
Go to my Substack.
And his Substack. I keep putting my Substack too. Our Substack too. I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
We're on Substack. We're rocking on Substack. But we love you guys. We're back on Sunday at 11. This is great. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the mosh pit, because I was watching and taking some of your ideas and trying to throw them in. Joe, thank you. We're enjoying it. Keep this in mind. We are turning into snails with little tails, but we're stopping it. We are stopping. Devolution.
Tails are getting bigger again.
And the king is in the counting house, laughing and stumbling. But that's the way it is. Joe.
Period.
Thank you all, and we will see you all on